Hello, am I audible to all?
Christy.
Okay. So, good morning to one and all present here. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Kashmira Mehta, Professor and Head Department of English, Kranti Guru Shyamji Krishna Verma, Kutch University, Bhuj. With 27 years of teaching experience in higher education, she is also closely associated with several national and international professional bodies and actively engaged in teaching, training, research, translation, editing, compilation, consultancy, and social activities. Her area of her areas of interest are uh, cultural studies, translation studies, and ELT. She is translating from Gujarati. Okay, she is translating from Gujarati and indigenous Kutchi language. She had obtained fellowships for PhD and minor research project from UGC. Uh, Apart from her brilliant academic career, she is profoundly interested in classical music and obtained Upantya Visharad in classical music. She is a writer and a translator who writes extensively in English, Gujarati, and Kutchi language. She, along with other professors of English, developed an app, artificial intelligence based vocabulary acquiring apparatus. And Patent Journal of India had published the patent. I welcome you, ma'am, on behalf of the Department of English, Sardar Patel University. And now I hand over the session to you, ma'am. Thank you.
You. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Shall we start?
Yes, sure, ma'am. Sure.
Just give me a minute. I'll share my screen. Is it visible? Is it visible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
It's visible.
Thanks. So, why good morning to one and all. I think English will be the perfect language. Somewhere you don't understand. I think my presentation will be divided into two parts. First, I'll be talking about research ethics, and then I'll be speaking about MLA formats, MLA 9 that we are using nowadays. Now, let me tell you, first thing, it is a pity to talk about research ethics in India, where all the researchers of India, like Kanad or Patanjali, or so many, I cannot name others, but they have never, uh, uh, I can say, they put their long nose into the others' ethical works that they are doing. But still, uh, we are doing PhD and we are sharing the things. So let me talk about research ethics that are now prevalent in our arenas, I can say. Um, First thing that I would like to tell you that what is the definition of research and what are the components of ethics of research. So this is the outline of my research ethic presentation. Let me begin. ethics, also known as the moral philosophy. Now, moral philosophy is a teaching that is, am I audible properly? Moral
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Moral teaching is a value education in India. Now, when you are doing research, I think there is a raised hand, but I will answer all the questions after finishing my presentation. So I'll give you a time, right? Ethics, also known as moral philosophy, is a branch of philosophy that involves systemizing, defending, and recommending concepts of right or wrong behavior. Now, what is right and what is wrong in research? That is shown by the research ethics. It involves the application of fundamental ethical principles to planning. When you plan the research, there is some ethical behavior. When you conduct the research, there is some ethical things that you have to look. There is some ethical matters that you have to take into consideration while you are publishing your research. So there are three phases in research ethics, that are planning, conducting, and publishing research. And I'll be talking about all these things. What is research ethics? Ethics is a set of rules that governs our exceptions of our own others, our behavior and behavior of the others. It also are a set of ethical guidelines that guide us how scientific research should be conducted and disseminated. The research ethics govern the standards of conduct of scientific research. It is the guideline for responsibly conducting the research. Now you will be conducting the research, and if you are not following the ethical guidelines, somewhere in literary research or maybe in humanities, it is sometimes permissible, or you cannot take permission sometimes of the uh, person or maybe the things you are researching. But still, if you are conducting medical research, it is compulsory to have consent of the person. So check it. Research that implicates human subjects or contributors rears distinctive and multifaceted ethical, legitimate, communal, and administrative concerns. So you have to take into care the ethical. It should be legitimate. It should not be promoting any communal things, and there should be some administrative concerns when you are conducting the research. Research ethics is unambiguously concerned in the examination of ethical issues that are appraised when the individuals are involved in participants of the study. Research ethics, or maybe there should be a research ethics committee. It is compulsory to have IRB in all the institutes, all the university. Wherever you are studying, your university might be having IRB. So this ethical committee reviews all the research and they give the permission, and they protect the rights of the respondents who are involved in the research. So if your university is not having IRB, see to it, it should have. Objective of research ethics. First and comprehensive object is to protect the human participants, their dignity, their rights, and their welfare. You must give proper whenever you cite, I'll talk to about citizens in MLA format, but still, you should give credit with whom you are researching. Second objective is to make sure that research is directed in a manner that assists welfare of the person, group, and civilization as a whole. The third objective to inspect the particular research events and schemes for their ethical reliability, considering issues such as controlling risk, protection of privacy, and progression of informed consent. So These are the objectives. Still, we are moving on. What are the ethical principles of research? These are the ethical principles: integrity, competence, justice, dignity. I'll be talking about them in length. Let me continue with it. Principles of research ethics are honesty, integrity, objectivity, informed consent, respect for person, beneficence, non-malfeasance, protecting the subjects, responsible publication, protecting anonymity, confidentiality, non-discrimination, openness, carefulness, and respect for intellectual property. Now, these are the research objectives of research ethics. Let me talk about being honest. Now, when you are doing research, you have to be honest, and it is apparent, it is obvious. Being honest with the beneficiaries and the respondents, in the larger benefit of the humanity, you are doing some research. You are doing some research to help the people, to benefit the people. So being honest about the findings and methodology of research, it is not easy to do the research. You sit in a one corner of your room and you do research. It's not possible, not even in the languages today. So being honest with other direct or indirect stakeholders, that is the first thing you have to take care. Integrity. Ensuring honesty and sincerity, fulfilling agreements and promises. Do not create false expectations or make false promises before you conduct your research, or maybe after conducting your research. You have to be having integrity with the things that you are doing. Objectivity, avoiding bias in experimental designs, data analysis, data interpretation, peer review, and other aspects of research. That is the objectivity. So whenever you design your research, you have to avoid the biases that you have. Informed consent. Informed consent is must, compulsory in all the medical and scientific research. For example, drug research. I can tell you that I am the member of ethical committee at the Adani Games. So in that we have ethical committee, and all the drug research, human body research, or some new inventions in operation, or maybe whatever they are doing, it should come first to the ethical committee. If the ethical committee permits that research, then and then they can go for that research. So informed consent. So in that, if you are asked what is informed consent, that means the person knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently gives consent to participate in research. That is informed consent. It is autonomous right of the person. If he says no, you will not involve him in your research. Informing participant about the research objective, their role, their benefit, or maybe harm, if sometimes it is a drug research. It can harm also. So these things should be informed to the person with whom you are going to conduct the research, right? Respect for person, respondent. Now, the person decides to be your research. It may be possible that he says he affirms the things that I'll be the participant in your research. Then autonomy, which requires that those who are capable of deliberation about their personal goals should be treated with the respect and the capacity of self-explanation and determination. Protection of person with impaired, diminished autonomy, which requires that those who are dependent or vulnerable be afforded scrutiny against the harm or the abuse of the subject of the research. Beneficence, maximize the benefit of the participant. So ethical obligation to maximize the possible benefits and to minimize the possible harm. So if you are doing the research, think about whatever benefits you can give to the people who are participants in your research, and it should having minimum harm. You be careful for that. An ethical committee is responsible to see to it. So it is a big responsibility of the ethical committee and the person who is a principal investigator in the research. Protecting the subject means if the subject, it is a research on human beings, if it is a research on the animals, sometimes it is a drug research, then do not harm. Minimize the harm, try to minimize the harm or risk to the human. You must ensure the privacy. It is, if it is psychological research, you must ensure the privacy and autonomy and dignity of the person who is respondent in your research. Responsible publication. Responsibly publishing to promote and uptake research or knowledge. No duplicate publication should be done. I'll be talking at length about the citation and plagiarism in MLA, so I will not expand this thing right now. Protecting anonymity. The person who is responding in your research should not be identified. It means keeping the participant anonymous. It involves not revealing the name, caste, or any other information about the participant that may reveal the identity of the respondent. Non-discrimination. You not discriminate among the participants of the research. Avoid discrimination on the basis of age, sex, race, ethnicity, or other factors that are violation of human rights and are not related to the study. Openness in the research. Be open to sharing results. Sometimes whenever you do the result, it should be given to the use of the larger benefit of the humanity. People must use it. Nowadays, we have showed the Ganga and everybody can access your research. Otherwise, sometimes research is done in the one corner of the world and nobody is benefited with that. So we have benefits. As you know, I'm sitting in a corner of Kutch, border of India, and I'll be talking to the people spread about all over India. So this is the benefit. So be open to the results. The person who is doing research must be benefited of the basis of your research so the new areas can come out. Also accept encouraging comments and constructive feedbacks. Sometimes whenever somebody comments on your research, you take it personally and you say that this is something that I will not accept. Now be open to that. Open for constructive feedbacks always. Confidentiality. Protecting confidential information, personal records. It includes information such as introduction and objectives of research, purpose of the discussion, procedure of the research, anticipated advantages, benefits, harms from the research, if any, and use of research. So during these process, if you find that some information is confidential, then you will not make it public. This is the thing that I wanted to share. The role in research, sometimes it should be confidential. Right to refuse or withdraw. If you are doing research and somewhere the participant feels that he wants to withdraw or she wants to withdraw from the research, it is her or his right and they should be given permission. Methods which will be used to protect anonymity and confidentiality of the participant. Freedom to not answer any question, withdraw from the research. If participant denies that I will not answer this question, whenever we prepare a questionnaire, 5 scale, history scale, or whatever scales. You prepare a questionnaire, yes, no questions sometimes. Now, if the participant denies that I will not answer this question, it is his or her right. So who to contact if participant needs additional information about the research? If they ask about the details of the questions or maybe research, then the contact number of the person should be given, right? Principal investigator or maybe co-investigator should answer all the questions. Carefulness and respect for all intellectual property. Be careful about the possible error and biases. Give credit to the intellectual property of others. Now, this is a big subject, intellectual property rights, IPR. If it is someone else's property, in the beginning I said that in India, we have researches, different researches on various subjects. Like I can tell you, Chanakya is in Arthashastra, Kanad is in atomic energy, Patanjali is in Yoga Sutra. Now, if somebody wants to speak about that, they will write Tika or maybe Pradipika, means to throw the light on the thing. So that is known as the, for example, Hatha Pradipika. That is something that throws the light on Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Now, if you find that there is some gap in the research, you can write critical comments on that. Now, it should not only criticize. Take note of that. It should throw the light, and wherever you find the gap, the next research will begin. So, this is the tradition of research. Give credit to the intellectual property of others and begin wherever you find the gap and do your own research. Always paraphrase while referring to others' articles, writings, and never plagiarize. Do give proper credits to the person whose quotes or maybe citations you are using, and how to cite the references. I will give you the details in the next presentation. But if in NET you will be asked the questions, and you will be asked, for example, that what is IPR? Then it is intellectual property rights. It is protecting the rights of the person whose intellectual child is this research, right? Justice, the obligation to distribute benefits. Now, what is justice in research? Then you should distribute all the results that you are getting and burdens fairly with the people who are participating, maybe your co-investigator, maybe your participant. You equally distribute the things with them, and you will not differentiate the treatment based on widely accepted criteria for just ways to distribute benefits and the burdens, right? So this is the thing. Broad categorization of principles of research ethics. Let me be more exam oriented, and these are the things. Now, minimize the risk of harm, obtaining informed consent, protecting anonymity. These three options will be given to you. And then you will be asked which is not the principle of research ethics. Then you will mark the thing that is not available in the list that I have given you. Keep in mind, minimizing the risk of harm. For example, 1, obtaining informed consent, protecting anonymity, confidentiality, avoiding misleading practices, providing a right to withdraw. Advantages of research ethics. What are the advantages of research ethics? Research ethics promote aims of research. There are few aims in the research. and your research will be promoting it. It increases the trust among the researchers and respondents. After completing your research, your respondent should be having trust in you that this person has used my consent or my material or my body. For example, it's a drug research for the benefit of the humanity. It is important to adhere to ethical principles in order to protect the dignity, rights, and welfare of the research participants. Researchers can be held accountable and answerable for their actions. Ethics promotes social and moral values, promotes ambitions of research such as understanding, veracity, and dodging the error. Ethical standards uphold the values that are vital to cooperative work, such as beliefs, answerability, mutual respect, and impartiality. Ethical norms are in the research also aid to construct public upkeep for research. People are more likely to trust a research project if they can trust the worth and reliability of the research. So ethical norms in the research are also having public upkeep for the research that you must note. Limitations of research ethics. Now, as we talked about advantages of research ethics, there are few limitations also. In the net, you will be asked, these are, for example, four limitations are given to you, and one of them is incorrect. Then you have to tick out the incorrect limitation of the research. It can be advantage or it can be something else. Possibilities to physical integrity containing those linked with experimental drugs and dealing with their other involvements that will be used in the study. For example, measures the uses to observe research participants such as blood sampling, X-ray, lumbar punctures. So these are the limitations of the research that it should be containing to physical integrity. Psychological risk. Now this one was the physical risk. This is the psychological risk. For example, a questionnaire may perhaps signify the risk if it fears traumatic events or happening that are especially traumatic. If I'll give you the example. One of my student who was doing research in partition stories. Her name is Avni. She was doing research in partition story, and she talked to the person who were there during the time of partition. We are in Kutch, and we have so many people who are there living, still they are living, and they are the participants who were existing in those days, and they talked about it. And sometimes it was so traumatic that they cried during the video that she was taking. So these things can happen. So there can be psychological risks, social, legal, and economic risks. For example, if personal information collected during a study is unintentionally released, participants might face a threat of judgment and stigmatization. So there are legal risks, there are economic risks also. Another limitation of research ethics is certain tribal or inhabitant groups may possibly suffer from discrimination or stigmatization burden because of research. Typically, if associates of those groups are recognized as having a greater than usual risk of devouring a specific disease. Another disadvantage is the researcher may perhaps have an influence on prevailing health system if the research is in medicals. For example, human and financial capital dedicated to research may distract attention from other demanding healthcare necessities in the community. So I will stop here from my presentation on research ethics, and I'll be starting new presentation about the next topic, that is MLA citations, how to cite the papers, articles, books, theses. I'll give all the examples. So should I take questions right now or after the presentation?
We will keep the question answer session at the end of the sessions.
Right, right. So I'll just give me a minute. I will quickly share the
Okay.
next presentation. I hope it is visible now.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
So MLA format 9th edition, the basics. Bilkul basics. I'll talk about totally basics of MLA format. Now, who is MLA? You will ask me, who is MLA or what is MLA? Let me clarify. Can you tell me who is MLA? Who is MLA? MLA is an association of the people. So that is why who is MLA. Even what is MLA is also correct. Huh? It's a modern language association. MLA format. Now, whenever you are asked full form of MLA, remember modern language association. It's a association of the people who are making these rules for you, for citations, for quoting, for referring the things, right? MLA format is a citation style that is used for many courses here at SCC. Now, what is SCC? You can search it, I know. You can search it. Yeah, let me keep it secret right now. I'll ask it at the end. It's a secondary. First thing is secondary. Huh? Okay. Typically used in the humanities, English, history, and languages. But all the citation styles are MLA. Sometimes APA is also used. But right now we are having MLA Handbook 9th edition. This is the 9th edition of MLA. I am having the e-copy of this book, and I think all of you must be having it because PDF is available online. You can check it. If you don't find it, I'll share it, not to worry. Book published by Modern Language Association, MLA Handbook 9th edition. It walks readers through to how to properly format, write, cite in MLA. The newest edition was in 2021. You can visit this website, http://stylemla.org, and you will find the soft copy of this book. How to format your paper. Now be very careful in this presentation. I'm giving this detailed things. What does an MLA format paper look like? Now, first thing, it should be double spaced. Now, whenever you are asked the question in net, paper should be 1.5, 2.5, double spaced or single spaced, then the answer will be double spaced. The font will be Times New Roman, and in various languages, it can be different. For English, it is Times New Roman font. For example, in Gujarati, we have Shruti fonts, 12 points. So in English, it is Times New Roman font. Margin, everywhere, in all the corners, it should be 1 inch. Header with the last name and page number. Your last name should be there and page number should be there in the header when you are formatting your paper in MLA 9. Heading with your name, instructor's name, and course and the date. If it is something that is empirical research, these things should be there. So the Word document, it is formatted, double spaced, 12 points, 1 inch margins, and these are the specifications in format or header. This is the example. Smith is the name of the person. Page number 1, double space, 12-point font, Times New Roman, and 1 inch margin in all the sides of the paper. Let us talk about citations. Now, this is the topic where all the people are much frustrated and afraid. But I can tell you, this is so easy if you remember. This is so easy. Let me talk about what are in-text citations. If you are citing it from the text, direct quotations or paragraphs that you are using is in the body of your text. In-text citation should connect to an entry in the work's cited page. Generally, it includes the author's last name or abbreviated title. When there is no author, then you will write abbreviated title and page number, right? This is the example. Let me give one clear slide. For example, in-text citation example. One author with page numbers. For example, Hennessy is the author, and you have taken this quotation from page number 81, then, or maybe 82, then these are the page numbers. 81, 82, 83, so dash 81 dash 82. If there are no page numbers, from somewhere you found it and you have seen the name of the person or maybe something that is article, then you will so show it in double inverted commas and no page numbers. Everyday victims, Jones. No author. If you find no authors, then use shortened version of the title of the book that from where you have found this, and Noon, for example, and 508 Faulkner's novels and page number 25. In-text citations examples. If there are two authors, you will go for Doris and Edrich, for example, and page number 23. And if there are three or more authors, for example, Bird, ETAL, for example, you are writing this, then and all, it means and all, means all the authors. ETAL dot means and all. So if abbreviation is asked to you in the examination, what does that mean? And where do you use it? Then it means and all the authors, and it is used in text citations. Author title mentioned in the sentence. Example 1. Hennessy tells how Auden's writing was popular with the contemporary readers and critics. If you mention the author in the title and you don't quote it, then you will directly put that into your sentence and quote the page number with into bracket. Galt says, and you will exactly putting the same words what the person said, then you will put it in double inverted comma. Remember, double inverted comma if in-text citations are there with the same word that the person said. Galt says, now in the first sentence, he tells how that you have that these things can be used. But if you are going for the same things that he had said, then you will use double inverted commas, and an increasing number of companies have dedicated social media position, and where it is available on page number 122. It will be into brackets. If there are no authors, you will find it in some newspaper or in some articles, and there are no authors. Beginner's Guide to Yoga, for example, and it is you find it somewhere and no author's name is given, then the standing forward band is highlighted as a great position for people, whatever they have written, blah blah blah. That will be into double inverted comma. That book will be in double. That article, for example, not the book, sorry, that article's name will be in double inverted comma if there are no authors. Remember, if there are no authors, then book will be in the double inverted comma. If, check example 2 that I have given, if you have found out the name of the author, the quote will be in the double inverted comma and page number is always given. And if you are converting the sentence in your own sentence, then you will quote the name of the person and the page number of the book that you are using in your bibliography. And in the last page, you can have it. Another example 4, if no page number is available and you are quoting something, Smith report, for example, that there are many options for paid social meeting monitoring services and cost varieties considerably. Then you will just give the name of the person who had given this report. Nothing else. Means I want to tell you that use whatever is available, and if it is not available, leave it. Example 5. No page numbers. Guru says that regular yoga practice can be good for building strength. Now, in the first sentence, there is a change. See, example 4, there are no page numbers available, but Smith reports that. That means you have converted the sentence in your own language. Whatever Smith said, you have given the same thing, but you have given it in your own language. So you are not using double inverted comma, remember. But if you are using the same words that he had spoken or written, then it should be in double inverted comma. If you wish to see more examples, I have given you the website in the beginning. Check out that website. Now, how to go for citations? What are the core elements of citations? Check out these 9 things. Author, title of source, title of container, other contributors, version, number, publisher, publication date. Sometimes we have issue number also. So edit in a version also. You can edit as a issue or version, and location. Now, piece of information you use from all these 9, you can all these 9 if available. You can omit the things if you are not available. So these are the core elements of citations. In the net, you will be asked now how you will write the name of the author. First one. Author, who is author? Author can be person, group of people, organization, artist, musical group, or online username. So these can be the authors. Author doesn't mean that the single person who is writing, or maybe group of the people who are writing the things. It can be the artist or musical group who has created this. So, and there are some online sources also which you are using in as a resources in your research. So it can be online username also, from where you cannot find the name of the person, but it can be pseudonym also. So this is considered as the author. In the net, you will be asked, are these the things or maybe people who are considered as the author? Now you can say group of the people can be the author, organization can be the author, artist can be the author, musical group, sometimes painting, who has done this painting can be the author, online username can be the author. Now these are the rules of citations. If there is no author given, skip the author and start with the title of the source. Title of the book, article, from wherever you are taking it, start with it. If you find the author, then you will give the last name. For example, my name is Kashmira Mehta, then my last name is Mehta. So it will begin with Mehta Kashmira. Smith John, for example. 2 authors, last name, first name, and the first name and the last name, right? So the first authors, who is the, for example, Smith John is the first author, then his last name will be the first name. But if there is second author, then Mary Fields, for example. Mary is the name of the person and the field is the last name, but it will be given as the same first name and the last name. Remember it. 3 authors. Last name, first name of the first author, and et al. Et al is abbreviation of and all. So you will not write all the authors. If there are 2 authors, you can have and, that is as the connector of the authors, and you can use it. Conjunctions, I can say. And in the if there are 3 or more than 3 authors, you will add et al. Association or company. Use the name of association or company as the author. If work is written and published by an organization, list the organization as publisher only. For example, American Cancer Society is the list of the company as the author. Pseudonyms. As I told you, some users' names are pseudonyms. They don't reveal their identity. So use pseudonym. Online username is also that you are citing it. So don't worry. Use it as a regular author's name, editor, or other role. If the role of that person or group is something other than creating the work's main content, follow the name with the label that describes the role. For example, the editor, compiler, that is the role. That is the role of the person. Only do this in the author field if it is important to highlight this person. Otherwise, use other contributors field. Right? Another thing important in citation is title of the source. What is the title of the work? It can be name of the book, name of the article. It can be short story name. It can be title of painting. It can be the lyrics of the song. If there isn't a title, provide a description of the source. Now, how to cite a title of the source? If you are quoting or citing entire book, then italicize self-contained works. The Awakening. You will write it in italics. Collection of essays. Italicize self-contained works. Essay, encyclopedia, entry, or story, or a poem if you are using from a collection. It is contained in a larger work or a larger book, then use quotation marks. Play. Italicize play even if they are in a larger work. For example, Shakespeare's work, Romeo and Juliet. Articles from journal, magazine, or newspapers. If they are contained in a larger work, journal, use quotation marks. Here I have given the example. If you are quoting the entire journal or magazine or a newspaper, then give example. Italicize it and cite it. If you are using entire website, then italicize it. Write it in italics, and website article if you are citing, then it should be having in quotation marks. Songs, it will be also part of a larger album, then use quotation marks. Always remember, place a period after the title of the source. Time frame that is available. Now you must be confused. Where to use italics or where to use quotation marks? If the source published in a larger work, if yes, then use quotation mark. And if the source is not a part of a larger work, then italicize it. If it is the work itself, then italicize it. And if it is a part of a larger work, then use quotation marks. If you are citing it from a larger work, use quotation mark. I hope I'm very clear about the things. And you should be clear when to use quotation mark and when to italicize the things. Plays and novels are always italicized. And even when they are contained with the larger work, remember that. Now, if I will give you one example, more example to make it more clear. Beloved by Toni Morrison is a book. Is the source published in a larger work? Yes. Then it will be it is not actually it is not part of a larger work, so it will be italicized. I have given you the example also. Citation: Morrison Toni. The name is Toni Morrison, but the last name will be coming as the first name. Morrison, comma, Toni, comma. Don't forget it. Huh? And then the title will be in italicized form. Then whatever company that has published it and the year of the publication. Academic journal writing. Now, if you are citing it from journal, if you are citing it from journal and it is a part of a larger work, you will be using quotation marks. I have given you the example. Consideration for nursing practice. That is academic journal. That is the part where you have, if you are writing the article, you have used this source, this critical care nursing book. Then you will go for quotation marks. Next thing is the title of container. Container is a work that contains another work. It's a larger volume. The journal contains the article, the album contains the songs, the English textbook contains different types of stories or a text or a poetry or something else. So it is the title of the container. Not all sources have container. It can be one book. So if your source is having a container, you are quoting maybe you are using the thing or you are citing the things from a larger source and you are citing one thing only, then how to cite it? See, this is larger work, and if you will open it, you will find small thing that is available in the container. Always italicize the container and place a comma after the container title. Journal, magazine, newspaper. This is the source. And the example is Journal of History. So always italicize it. If you are using it as a source. For example, one text is short stories for students and you are citing it, then it should be italicized and place comma after it. See, short stories for students, and the source is story of an hour. That is one story that we can find into this. So the source will be into inverted commas, and the container, the thing that you are using, will be italicized. See another example. Source is in inverted comma, and the container is italicized. Source will be in inverted comma and container will be italicized. Other contributors. There may be some more authors or other contributors to the research. A contributor is someone who contributed to the work without being the author or a creator. For example, editors, they don't write the things. They are not the author of the things, but they have edited. Translators, directors of the movie, composers of the songs. They are not directly contributing to it, but they are composing it, they are editing it, they are creating it. So how to cite? Sometimes your source must be having contributors, not the authors. How to cite it? This is the detailed discussion I am doing with you. So remember everything. You can be asked corner questions from this. So contributor can be editors, they can be having audiovisual roles and other roles like including the description of the relevant things. Example, edited by John Reeves, directed by Steven Spielberg, illustrated by, translated by. Always place comma after the name of the contributor. Write the name or the company or whatever. Translated, illustrated, edited, directed. Write the name and make a comma after that. Version. Has the work been released in more than one form? Edition or a director's cut? There can be various versions. Abridged versions can be available. So, second edition, third edition, unabridged version, director's cuts, authorized King James version. Recently, for example, in Gujarati stories, we have 20th edition of Priyajan by Vinesh Antani. This is the novel that he had published long back, 20 years, and every year it is published. So in this 20th edition, he had made it available with a special version. So that can be version of the 20th version of the novel, and always place comma after the edition or version. That is the style to cite it. Number. Is a work a part of a numbered sequence? Volumes of a book or a journal are having numbers of the articles, or maybe research papers in journal. Then use number. Comic book issues, television episodes, like for example, Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma, episode number 275. So this is the number you are citing. How to cite the numbers? From which source you have taken it? For example, short stories for students, volume 3, comma. Volume 64, comma. Periodicals, journals, write the name of the journal and volume number and comma, right? Issues can be also there. So you can note it down if they are available. Publisher. Name of the publisher. who published this book, Oxford, Routledge, book publisher. Not only book, but it can be studio, network that created or released it. Organization can create a website. Theater company who performed this plays and you are citing it. So it is not that the publisher are having book, can be in various forms. Do you always need to include the publisher? Not always. Do not include publisher name if. Now this can be corner question in net and set. Do not include publisher name if you are citing a periodical. If you are citing journal, magazine or newspaper, it is permissible not to cite the name of the, or maybe, publisher of the periodical. Self-published work. You don't need to include publisher's name. Website whose titles are the same as their publisher. Now, if the website I'm using is, for example, Urdu Wellness, and the publisher's name is also Urdu Wellness, then you don't have to use it. For example, I can give you a popular example like YouTube is the name of the channel, and again, it is the name of the publisher also. So you need not to use it. Periodicals and websites. Do not list a publisher for periodicals, journals, magazines, newspapers. Websites, if website's publisher is essentially the same as the title. If, for example, I have given you the popular example, YouTube, then skip the publisher. Drop business words like company, limited, corporation, etc. You can abbreviate university press as UP. Publication date. When was the work created? No date is very common. Full date. Seasonal date. Multiple dates, usually in different editions. So what is the publication? Date and how to cite it. If there is no date, then omit the date. Don't use it. However, the source is online. Include the access date at the end of the citation after location field accessed on 23rd July 2015, for example. Whenever you have used that source, then write it. Full date. Give the full date whenever available. Always give the most specific date possible. Format of the date is always follows day, month, year. Today is 23rd May 2024. Now this is the format. Cardinal numbers. Seasonal date. Usually with periodicals. Sometimes they use seasons like spring collection, fall collection. So use it. Multiple dates. When source carries more than one date, cite the date that is the most relevant to your purpose. Sometimes you are quoting the things from the research that is available on that is conducted by time to time, and some time frames or some dates are given whenever this research was conducted, and the most suitable that you are citing, that you have to give. For books, usually you want the most recent copyright date, unless you discuss the history around its original publication. Abbreviate months except now. You have to abbreviate January, February, March, April, August, September, October, and November and December. Only exceptions are 3 months, May, June, and July. These 3 months are exceptions. Otherwise, you have to abbreviate while you are citing it. And always place a comma after publication date. location. Where did you find the source? Page numbers, database name, URL, DOI, domain of information, physical location, or artwork or theater or the place where you visited and found it. Sometimes you can use photographs also. Location is again a source, and the rule of citing location, source with page numbers. Then you will need to add the page numbers. For example, source is only on page number 5, then page number P.5. If multiple pages, then 10, 17, 16, 20. Okay. If the source is printed in non-consecutive pages, then 53 plus. You can continuously go on. Websites cite the URL, web address for your sources. Unless your instructor doesn't want it, try to use a permalink or a stable URL if possible. Do not include HTTP. Only list www dot. Only list www dot. This is the authentic address of the website, right? Online article with digital object identifier. Always use DOI, digital object identifier. This is the full name of DOI. Instead of URL, if available, DOI domain. That is the digital object identifier. If article has both page numbers and DOI, then use both the things. Separated by commas, and you don't have to italicize or put it in a comma. Just write it and place a comma in between. Physical location. If physical location is available, sometimes you visit memorial, auditorium, museum, modern art museum, for example, then use it and list the city after that. Use comma and, for example, Kutch Museum, then comma, Bhuj. It is available in Bhuj. So you have to use location also. Library MLA resources is MLA guide, how to find citation information guide. Ask a librarian how to cite sometimes. Thanks. It was a long presentation, and there are so many things that I had tried to include, and I hope I can I can be understood properly. And in these things, you can be asked corner questions, so many things that could be asked in NET and SET. So be prepared for that, and you can ask me any question if you wish.
Hello, student participants. If you have any questions, kindly ask ma'am. Yes, there is a question in chat box, ma'am,
Okay.
that please provide citation guidance for work which is translated.
I had already discussed, you have to give the name of the translator. translated by, and give the name of the person and then put the comma. That is the thing. I'll share my presentation with you also, so you can check it out if there are any doubts, and you can visit MLA 9th edition. You can have PDF of that book, and it is available online. The PDF is already available, so you can check it out and remember the things that are important to you.
Anyone else? Yes. There is one more question in chat box, ma'am.
Yes.
Uh, could you please make a more detailed distinction of the term citation, paraphrasing, and referencing bibliography when we must use them?
Citation, again, I think I was very clear in the beginning that when you are citing something, paraphrasing is different. You are citations means you are quoting something. You are having exact words into inverted commas. That means you are citing, or maybe you are using it in a sentence. But if you are paraphrasing the things, that means you are analyzing it, right? And referencing and bibliography. Now, reference is different thing and bibliography is different. Reference, you refer the things, and bibliography is the list of the books that you are using. Be very clear that it is the list of the books. And the reference is the things that you have referred, you have checked, you have used for your research. I hope I could
Ma'am,
differ. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Ma'am, other question, that full form of SCC, we were going to discuss at last. So,
I asked you the question and I thought that you will find it online. It is available online. Is there anyone who had seen it if you have gone through MLA site? Is there anyone? You can open up someone's, or maybe you can give it in a chat. It is
Excuse me,
available.
ma'am.
Yes.
It's showing, but it's related to cancer disease, basically. If on Google we see
No,
squamous
no,
cell.
no. I think go for in MLA, SCC in MLA. Go for it. You will find it. Everything is available on Google. Should I tell you?
Ma'am, is it Spartanburg Community College?
Yes, they are publishing MLA handbooks. It's a community college.
Sure. Okay, ma'am.
Very good. Means for small questions which are available on website, on Google. Now, what you need to do is to practice only. If you think you lack in where to use italics, how to use inverted commas, where to use it, where not to use it, then what you will do is practice it. Check it again and again. Then it will be the easiest thing for you, because it is 2 + 2 means 4, nothing else. There is nothing like literary research. There can be more examples or maybe more meanings. It is as simple as black and white.
Is there anyone else who has any question? Okay, so they don't have any question.
Good then. But still, if you have any queries, or sometimes you can always send me the queries uh, in WhatsApp or whatever source you have, right?
Actually, ma'am, there is one question in YouTube that the person is writing the short story citation. How can we do that?
Now, short story, if it is a part of a larger book collection, I have given you the same example that if it is a part of a collection of a short stories, then you will write that. Uh, Again, I can show you the thing. It is available here because these are the common things which where we make mistakes. Where we make mistakes. If it is a part of a larger work and you are citing the
Oh,
smaller work, means one of the stories from that, yes, then if you are citing it, then use quotation marks. For example, uh, one of the stories that is Beloved by Toni Morrison,
Morris.
that you are, yeah, that you are using as a source, then Morrison comma Toni, then Beloved will be italicized, and then the rest of the things that you are using, right? So you will not use quotation marks. You will use italics for citing story that is published in a larger work.
Uh, Thank you, ma'am. Now, if there are any question, then kindly put it.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually, I'm also from Kutch University, Tolani Arts and Science College, and it was really pleasure to hear you again here. As we have already met, if you have recognized when you came to our college for one of the program in Tolani Polytechnic, Sushil Dharmani sir and everyone. So
Yes.
it was like we even took your autograph and everything that we will come and join the masters in Kutch University. But then I took admission over here basically. But
Okay.
it was really good and pleasure to hear you again over here.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. World is so small, no?
Yes, ma'am. It's like kind of when I saw that from Kutch University you are invited as a guest lecturer for us, it was like I have heard, ma'am. I know her. We have been part of together programs.
Thank you for the love.
You're welcome, ma'am.
I hope so. There is no queries left from the participants. So it has been such an honor to be a part of this session. On behalf of the participant and the Department of English, SP University, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to you, ma'am. Thank you very much for this session. Thank you very much, ma'am.
May I leave it now?
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Student participants, there is one announcement, so you stay here. That kindly do your feedback at attendance. And join the and join the Zoom meeting and on YouTube channel. So